The Random Show. Inside knowledge of TV, pop culture, and game shows. With your host, executive producer of Let's Make a Deal and The Price is Right, Mike Richards. Joined by the shortest moral compass on podcasts, Beth Triffin. And now, The Random Show.
Welcome.
Hello.
To The Random Show.
Yay. And that crowd goes wild.
I am Mike Richards.
My mom.
Sitting over there is Beth Triffin. Does your mom listen to the podcast?
She's listened to 2 episodes.
I want to be candid. No one in my family has ever listened to one.
Really? Oh.
My family is to the point to where they're pretty jaded that if I'm not hosting something on camera,
we just don't want to hear them.
That's exciting that you're doing a podcast. That's it. Not like one question. What do you talk about? What do you do? Who listens to it? How's it going? And really, even on the producing stuff, they're like, well, did you sell anything? And it's not that they're not proud, because they are. They're very proud. I mean, you know them. But if it's not hosting, they can't be bothered, really.
Well, there's a bunch of kids, and they got to take care of those people, and right?
No, there's really just me and my sister. Yeah, it's
I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I think that the producing is like a normal job to them now, and that the hosting is something special because they can see me. It's more tangible. My mom, when I was on dailies 5 days a week for 2.5 years, literally every day. She
watched you every day.
Every day she watched it.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, it was great because even if I didn't get to see you, I got to see how you were doing. And I could tell some days you were tired. And, she's so... And my dad probably watched it once, but that's fine.
He got the gist.
He's like, I got it.
I know what you're doing.
Boring.
Did I ever tell you that my best friends listened to it once, and she was like, Beth, you have such a beautiful speaking voice.
Can I tell you honestly, Beth? You've now told me that 5 times. No, not kidding. And I believe we'll have to go through the archives that you've said it before on the podcast.
Because you know what? I just was
Bisgrove, am I wrong? I think she said it on the podcast.
I don't remember that story, actually.
Thank you, Jen. I'm so excited about it because...
She's playing... What is it? World of Warcraft? What do you play?
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush.
My roommate's obsessed.
With Candy Crush?
Yeah, with Candy Crush.
So you're relying on Bisgrove to remember something that happened, and she is not as interested as even
People
my
have always thought my voice was nasal, so...
I don't think so. Yeah, my impression of you when I'm being you is pretty nasally.
I know. It is.
It's not Pat O'Brien nasally.
It is. I know.
He's the ultimate insider.
So it was just such a thing I took to heart.
That's nice. I'm glad that we're working on your self-esteem. You have a Beth story ever told, or kind of a follow-up for us?
It's just like a thing that I've decided to conquer that I'm really afraid of.
Height?
No.
We're going to get her stilts. A very exciting podcast. Now, for those of you listening, usually, we plan it all out. We have a whole thing, but and we have a plan and we have a guest, but Beth has been kept completely in the dark.
Yeah, and usually I text Jen at least the day before. Asking what's the deal? What should I look up?
Yeah.
And I think she may have lied to me.
She did. She actually used complete misdirection, and then we got busted on it.
Yeah, just about 2 seconds before this podcast started.
She's like, I can't. Beth was like, I can't wait to talk to Dan Funk, who's the executive producer of Let's Make a Deal with Me. And I was like, are we calling Dan Funk? So I didn't play along at all. I did not help.
No, it didn't go well.
So Bisgrove's a big fat liar.
Yeah.
And I love it. But it's very exciting. I have exciting news for you, and I wanted to get your reaction live.
I'm really nervous. This is horrifying. I like being prepared.
I know,
usually
that's what's
try
so
to
fun
prepare
about it.
myself.
Before we get into that very exciting news, I wanted to follow up on something that we talked about on the podcast in one of the very early episodes. And that is Disneyland. I had just been to Disneyland, and remember, it's not my favorite.
Oh yeah, you didn't love it
place.
at all.
And
we didn't. Both of us really don't. Love
not
it.
fans.
Yeah.
Not fans. We had Chris in who pretends to have a broken leg, so he can cut in the lines and all that stuff. So apparently, the Today Show had an undercover producer go in with his family. And it got even more scandalous than faking it. You were able to hire a guide, not that works for Disneyland, that qualifies for the handicap treatment. I don't know what it is. And so you get the pass.
Oh my God.
And they are legitimately, from what we can understand, are legitimately disabled in some way, the tour guides. But then they charge you $200 to $1,000. And you go, hey, skip the lines and we'll all go in together. And they actually, in the Today Show piece, they talk about the, what's it called, Star Tours. where I got to go because my niece is actually disabled,
right?
And she got us in the side door, so I knew exactly what they were talking about.
Oh my!
And
Lord.
remember, I kept saying it seemed like no one was actually disabled. Everybody seemed fantastic,
like
and
just
then,
in everyday working condition.
Yeah, they seemed like mint condition, just out of the factory, and yeah. So this is a big thing. So now in the news, they're cracking down on it.
So how are they cracking down?
Well, they've got a whole thing where you're going to have to go if you're disabled, and you'll get a special pass, but then you'll have to go to a kiosk at the front of the park and make a reservation, I guess, to go to that ride, and then you'll have. They're just making it super difficult, which. You're like, yeah, they should.
Kind of a bummer
make it,
for the really handicapt people.
But if you're actually disabled,
yeah,
that's a huge bummer because we end up with Josie's my niece. We end up pushing. It's a lot of work and it's always hot and that place is miserable. But I can't imagine having to go back and forth to the kiosk and sign up. And I'm not sure how that really weeds out this phenomenon. I saw that they were cracking down, but I'm not sure. If a guy legitimately has the placard or whatever it is, I'm not sure how that helps. But I thought it was so very exciting that we were on the forefront of the news.
We have an update to a story.
In a way, I'm pretty sure that Today Show producer listens to the podcast.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we have to send her the link if she doesn't.
How do you know it was a girl?
Oh, I was assuming.
Ooh. Sexist.
Today Show? Aren't a lot of women on that?
I'm sure there are. I'm sure it's 50-50. Beth, it's the workforce. So, Beth, are you ready for the exciting news?
I think so.
Jen Bisgrove, hit the music sting. Yeah! There it is. Yes.
Wow.
All right. Now, one of us is a working actor.
Is that you?
And one of us is named Beth.
Okay, great. All right.
Because I have booked yet another role on The Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh, God. Are you serious? Oh, I'm going to kill myself.
This is why we didn't tell her ahead of time. Was I right, Ms. Grove?
Oh, my God. What, Mike? What did you book?
I'm not playing the producer of The Price is Right as I did
Did you
the
have
last
to
time.
do like a stretch? Did you just be something else?
Beth?
What? Oh my God!
I'm playing a character named Thaddeus Bone Vivant.
No, you're not.
I have how many lines? Have we counted lines yet, Bisgrove?
3 or 4. 3 or 4, something like that.
I am playing an inventory specialist for Forrester.
Forrester, like cars?
Forrester is the company on the show. That's the family business on the show.
Right.
I'm sorry, what Forrester cars are you aware of?
Is that like an SUV? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Subaru Forester.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that's not a type of car.
Okay, I don't know.
I can't work like this. So, anyway, it's pretty much the most exciting thing that's ever happened.
Did you audition for this role?
Beth, knowing my acting skills as you do you think I auditioned and got it?
So someone gave you a role.
That's correct.
All right.
So this was all set up as
What's your name again?
Okay, so here's the whole story, and then we're going to actually call Casey Kaspersick. We think that's how we pronounce his last name. Casey from The Bold and the Beautiful is one of the producers.
Okay.
And I have a lot of questions for him. Did I wow him with my last performance, and is that why I'm on? And therefore, does that render all of your criticisms of my acting ability moot at this point? So I always give Margot Wayne, who is the now vice president of Daytime.
That's very cool.
She works on the soaps and works on Price. I always say I need my own storyline on Bold and the Beautiful. Kidding, because I really do not have aspirations to act. I legitimately, and everyone's like, oh, of course you want to act. And I was like, no, I like hosting. I do have aspirations of that. I don't want to act because I'm never comfortable acting. And you can tell when you see me try to act. So anyway, I'm always giving her crap, and they came up with they're always trying to do crossover in daytime now, and so they asked if we would have Rachel and George Gray come on the show, and they needed a third. And I was like, but Margot, I'll do it. I understand what you're saying, and the answer is yes, I'll do it. And she was just trying to figure out who else we could get, and so I kept going on and on, as I do. And but kiddingly, I really legitimately was kidding. So then I get an email that says, hey, from the Bold and the Beautiful people, are you going to try to find my response? So I get an email from the Bold and Beautiful. We would like you to, come to the show. It's at 10 o'clock. It's blah, blah, blah. And it's just a way to promote price. I mean, we don't say Price is Right, in it or anything like that. But, and so it was supposed to be some kind of a crossover. And so then I wrote the following email to Margot, the senior vice president of CBS, the publicist, and everyone in that universe. I've been waiting for this moment my entire life. My own storyline. I can already see how my professional relationship with Windsor's character will cause Ashley's character to be jealous. She will test our bond by trying to bribe me with a new softball bat, but it won't work because deep down I hate softball and I only play on the team to undermine Windsor. My plan to take over the business is foolproof until... And that's how I left it. Now, a little backstory.
Plus, I want to make my former assistant very
insane. And the whole thing is we play people that work for Windsor, the character, and we have a softball team, and he's on it with us, and it's all about... So that's why the plot with the softball bat and all that kind of stuff. And then I said, I've hired a Slovakian dialect coach. I feel like a hint of a difficult-to-identify accent will help add to my character's mysterious past. Then I actually got into some actual logistics because I'm the executive producer
then you're like,
of 2
and what
shows.
time do I need to be there?
Yeah, that is... I was like, because I have 2 shows that are taping that day. And then I wrote, I have some thoughts on how to shape a guest star Emmy campaign that we can go over day of.
Oh, my Lord.
Thanks, Mike, a.k.a. Thaddeus Bon Vivant. So I named myself because
you named
So I named myself. And I have the script. Can we give Bethany a copy?
Oh, my Lord.
And I'm wondering if you'll do the reading with me. Oh, no, maybe we can't do it live. Yeah, we probably can't do it. We can't give it away because this won't air until November, so we can't do it.
Oh.
But I will say that I throw a lot of different Prices Right pricing game names into it.
I see this already.
Yeah.
I see this already.
Which I feel as
so
an
you're not
actor
allowed
makes
to
it...
say Price is Right, but you definitely hint to it.
Right. But I think as an actor, and I'll have to get your take on it, it's going to be a little difficult to read those lines as written because they're written purposely with Price is Right. Right? Are you reading it?
Yeah, this one line's... Yeah, that's hard. That would
It's going to be hard, right?
Yeah.
So this is tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Wow. Are you going to stay up all night?
Oh, no, because I don't want to look tired.
So do you have, the thing about, I think about soap opera acting, though, is you have to be really naturalistic. I
think I can. No?
Some of these lines might be a little bit of a...
Hard to do. So why don't we call Casey now?
Oh, my Lord.
And
So
we'll
what does
talk
Casey
about it.
do?
He's the producer of The Bold and Beautiful, and he helped craft Thaddeus. And I have questions about backstory.
Yeah.
And other things. So
Yeah.
let's get Casey now. So Casey, welcome to the Random Show.
Oh, jeez. Hi,
Right.
Casey.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, Beth, this is very exciting.
It is exciting. Now, you have to understand a little backstory here, Casey, is that Beth is an actual actor. And I will say, I'll be nice for a second and then I'll stop, that she's actually a really good actor.
Oh, that's nice.
And I am not. But I feel that this is going to be a recurring character for you guys. Tell me what your thoughts are long term.
And what is the story of
for Thaddeus
the
Bon Vivant?
Inventory
Well, this
specialist?
will be your second time on The Bold and Beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't we know it?
Yeah, so here's my question. Is Thad, is he an evil twin?
Well, this is something that we might have to play out in another episode.
Yes.
Yes. You know, the first time you were established, oddly enough, is the producer on The Price is Right.
Which I felt didn't...
I think you take a fall a little bit to go from producer of The Price is Right to
Yeah, but
Thad.
I felt like I didn't really inhabit that character. It was so natural for me.
Yeah, Casey, have you seen that episode?
Oh, yes, it's a classic.
See, I love Casey.
This is the Price is Right episode is a classic. Don and Pam went to The Price is Right. I mean, we have a picture on the wall of them, which you carried up in our office.
Oh, it's not a picture with me and my scene?
Yeah, no. But maybe there could be a chance now. This is another chance.
I see big things for Thad. Is it Thad or Tad? How do you?
It's Thad.
It's Thad, right? Because it's short for Thaddeus. Did you ever see the email I sent that helped kind of set up what his backstory would be and then what the story going forward would be?
I briefly saw it. It was quite detailed.
He did not pay attention to it.
No, it was very detailed. But we're happy to name the character Thad.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever had a Thad on the show. It's been on for 26 years. I think this may be the first Thad.
Wow, Mike.
I think I'm thinking of a situation where, because I was pretty specific in the writing, that have you ever had a writer/star on the show? Because I'm thinking this could be where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Casey's excited.
So Thad's who's the writer/star?
That's me. I'm the guy. I'm gonna help. I want to write. Because that's really, come on, anybody that gets into TV, we just want to write, and then we want to act. I mean, I don't really actually want to do either one of those, but would that would be a first, and that could be press worthy.
Yeah, that's true.
So I just want to know, so Casey, you saw Mike's performance and still felt comfortable having him on the show tomorrow.
Well. Of course. So it's not just Mike. We have Rachel,
right,
Price Model, and Danielle from Let's Make a Deal. So it's kind of this encompasses all of Mike's world.
Right.
So it's a trio. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really fun scene to have all of you together. I really feel in reading the scene, I feel like Thad drives it.
Yeah, I really feel like he's the center. The center of the wheel, if you will.
Does he get to wear like a one-piece coverall suit? Because he's like, does he work in like a warehouse?
Well, that's a possibility, actually. Let me write that down.
Great.
We work normally the employees. Yeah, no. See, you work in the basement of Forrester Creation.
This is great, but this is the ultimate. This is exactly like this is the ultimate rags to riches story.
Yeah.
This is the kid who was plucky and upbeat. And played on the softball team and played his heart out in every inning. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there was no one that was more of a specialist on inventory than Thaddeus Bone Vivant. And that's why it's basically the Phoenix rising from the ashes story.
That's so
from the
awesome.
basement of Forrester.
You are really committed to this.
Oh, you don't even know.
I have
He's
a whole
pumped.
backstory. I have a whole backstory. So you kind of dodged the question when Beth asked, do you feel comfortable based on what I did last time? Do you actually, in all seriousness, remember when I was on?
Oh, yes. It was March 2009.
Oh, wow. You actually do remember.
Yeah, we shot it out. You were actually on location, as we would say, because it was outside the studio.
That's right.
In the Price is Right line.
Yeah, you were.
And, yeah, no, it was there wasn't really much there because the actresses in the scene, they were playing all the comedy, so
right.
You just had to kind of.
You were the straight man.
So there wasn't a whole lot for you to go off of there. So it was, you were great for what it was.
Thank you. Great, Beth.
Yeah.
Because Beth does an impression of my line.
I was there. I was Mike's assistant at the time, so I was there with him when he filmed this, and he just cracked me up so much because the line was, "What are you doing here?" And I just remember Mike putting out his arm and like kind of bending a little weird and being like, "What are you doing here?"
Because I was trying to put emphasis because I was changing gears in the scene. I was the mechanism that took it off of the one character to the other. And I felt like in my scene study that I needed to make an emphasis of I am moving on from crazy to the other woman that's standing next to her who's not as crazy but that doesn't want to be here.
Yeah.
So
and you were committed to that role as well.
Yes.
So
well, you'll find that I am committed.
Mike is a hard worker.
I will focus.
Yeah,
I will focus hard on
focus in. I have a question for Casey. Casey.
Yeah.
So you guys do a lot of like crossover episodes and like stuff like that. Like, how does that come about? Like, how do you decide what shows you want to cross over with, and you know what the storyline is going to be, and like what made you think like, oh, let's do something with Price?
Well, we just had a very successful episode where we had a lot of the CBS reality stars from Big Brother and Survivor on the show, and that was a lot of fun. So we were just sort of thinking in our PR meeting, what's the next kind of group we can do, and it just Margot Wayne, Vice President of Daytime for CBS, had this great idea. Margot and I, we worked on the scene.
Yep.
And you've read it, I suppose.
Yep. I am
I
ready.
hope so. Yeah.
Beth and I were rehearsing.
Yeah, we rehearsed earlier.
Yeah. Very exciting.
We don't want to give anything away.
No. We didn't. We're not talking about anything in the scene.
No.
On the podcast.
I think that the fans of Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal will really love the scene.
Yes.
Are you going to be on set tomorrow to see this in action?
Oh, of course. Yes.
And so, hey, real quick, because we've been goofing around, but as a producer on Bold, what is it? What do you do? What's your role?
Well, I always say I don't write the show. I just look for ways to make it better. So Brad Bell's our executive producer, head writer. He writes every episode. And as a producer, I just look for ways that I can add creative touches and like if we have a fashion show or if we have stunt casting, which is what this is considered. We're stunt casting the scene. Try to coordinate that.
Cool.
Also, we go on location quite a bit. We just got back from Aspen 2 weeks ago where we did a big shoot.
That's cool.
So
that seems like the kind of thing an inventory specialist would need to be in Aspen to make sure that everything
all the boxes got there.
Yeah, exactly, Beth.
Yeah, are you familiar with what an inventory specialist is?
I am now. I've looked it up, and my job is to make sure that the inventory that Forrester needs is there. If not, I need to be out in front of it ordering new things and making sure things are organized and coordinated to where we can get whatever they need up to the top floors where all the magic happens.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Get used to saying that tomorrow.
Take wonder over here.
What I was going to say is that, we have our contract players who we see every day on the show who work at Forrester. We don't always get a chance to interact with the employees.
Right.
It's rare that we have scenes with employees. So we refer to them, but we never see them. So this is really an opportunity for the audience to see who are the people that make Forrester tick.
Exactly. And I think the perfect opportunity for a new storyline of a plucky.
It's kind of like a Downton
specialist.
Abbey upstairs downstairs thing.
And I love that I'm downstairs.
Ooh, I like
downstairs.
that. I like that
love
angle. Yeah.
This is going to be.
I really think this means that Mike has to drive my shitty car for the next week just to get in, just to get in character of a downstairs person.
Sort of like how Daniel Day-Lewis became Lincoln and had to be referred to as Lincoln when he was on the set. You were onto something, Beth. I think you need to maybe take the bus.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm method.
I'm so glad we're comparing Mike to Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes, I think, by the way, not the first time I've been mentioned in the same sentence. I think I'm still going to go home and open an expensive bottle of wine. I don't think that I want to go totally method. I think it's about staying, really in it, because I think for my character, just because of what I'm doing now doesn't preclude what's going to happen to me in the future.
I don't know. I think
as
you
the
should
senior vice president of inventory management at Forrester.
I don't know. I think you should get some PBR and $2 Chuck. Have a night.
and come in so hungover.
Just come in trashed.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you know. Okay, we can see how this goes tomorrow, and then craft another kind of angle, and so you'd be up for Thad to return again?
Absolutely.
Well, and Thad might need an assistant if he comes back. So who's short, cute, and
has
a brunette?
Insane hair.
Yeah.
Or a boss, another boss, supervisor.
Oh,
Great
no.
thinking, Casey.
No, I don't like where this is going.
I see why you're
Not
good
at
your job.
Speaking of great bosses, what is it like working with Brad Bell, who I think is such a nice guy? I've met him a couple times. He came up to me on Emmy night and congratulated me, and he had won another 73 of them that night himself. So he was like, "This might be special for you." My arm is tired. Is more what I felt like was coming off of him. But how does he keep coming up with storylines? How does he keep it fresh? Because that's what's made Bold such a success, and even internationally, is that it constantly pushing the boundaries. How does he do that?
He doesn't sleep. I don't know. He's just a genius at what he comes up with and the way he thinks. And whenever he pitches a story to me, I go, oh boy, I don't think this is going to work. And we go forward with it, we do it, and it's like the most amazing thing ever. So I don't know. It's just in his genes. His father created The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful. with his mother, and so Brad just has carried on that family tradition, and he is just he's been a real role model for me, and he's given me a lot of opportunities to grow and create the show, and so I'm very thankful for that.
It's amazing for a second generation television person to be as successful, especially staying in the family business. The fact that you're going, he doesn't sleep, that he grinds that hard, that he is always pushing the boundaries. Normally, you come up with money and success, and it's easy to take it for granted. And that is what shocks me about him, is that, I think he's financially pretty comfortable, I would imagine, and he's still out there really pushing. He really is the center wheel. He's not just the name on it. He is, the executive producer. He's the main force behind it.
Mm-hmm. No, he is I'm fortunate to work for the Bold and the Beautiful, which is run by the Bell family. So it's a family atmosphere, and we're all really close. A lot of people have been here for 27 years.
Wow, that's cool.
It's just a really great place to work. So I'm
awesome.
Well, I'm excited to be working for you guys. I like it.
and Brad's the guy. Yeah, maybe you want to meet with him beforehand. Ask him where he sees Dad going. I don't know, but
Well, I thought that executive producer to executive producer, I could hit him with some sample scripts.
Oh, Lord in heaven!
I couldn't even get it out in a serious way. No, I am looking forward to it. I love doing things that make me very uncomfortable, and this does, which is great. I'm really excited about it because I'm very comfortable on camera with hosting and stuff like that, but the actually memorizing lines, trying to be someone else and doing that kind of stuff is exciting. So
it's really cool.
I appreciate, in all seriousness, the fun opportunity, because it's been a lot of fun, laughing about it, getting made fun of about it, doing line reads around the office and driving people insane. I didn't ever send out the email of my writer email, did I? So I'll send that to you. It's pretty extensive, but
Casey's like, Mike, stop sending me emails
yeah, it's
about
enough.
your 3-line part.
Four lines,
right,
Beth. 4 lines. All right. Well, Casey, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. All right.
Thanks,
nice
Casey. Good luck.
Thank you. All right. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you go, Beth.
That's very cool, Mike. He sounds awesome. That sounds great. I'm really happy for you.
What if it really becomes? What if I really become like a major soap star? That'd be crazy, right?
Yeah, it'd be crazy. Yeah. I have nothing to say.
Well, there you go. More on how it goes. Bisgrove, you'll have to give the update.
Bisgrove, will you please
on the next podcast.
Take some video of this tomorrow and send it to me?
I'm going to be behind camera one with popcorn and Diet Coke.
You have such a supportive people around you.
Oh, no,
you,
literally, everyone is cheering for my failure. This guy's talking about Brad Bell. He's so hardworking. He's an inspiration. He's a mentor. He's the greatest guy. And here's what my staff is doing. Bisgrove is like, I cannot wait to watch you F up. Evelyn, who's co-executive producer, is having a party in her office starting at 2
to watch the feed
with booze to watch the live feed.
It.
So they can sit and heckle me.
Oh my God! I need to be invited to this. Well, Mike, I don't know if you heard it. It kind of got run over, but I did say, when he was talking about Brad Bell and how great he is, and how he's showed him so much, I said, it's kind of like me and Mike.
It did get run over. Let's play that back, Bisgrove. I don't believe that.
I don't know if that.
I said, that's the way I feel about Mike.
I think your mic might have cut out.
No, it was just everyone was talking. I just kind of put, that's the way I feel about Mike. Just kind of put it in there.
Yeah, I don't know what I wonder if. But I feel like people would probably be nice to Brad Bell if he came over to The Price is Right and hosted for a day.
Yeah,
his staff and my
probably.
staff is very excited to see me fail. What does that mean, Bisgrove?
You have to look within yourself. Yeah.
I am beloved. How dare you? You know what it's time for now? The Beth story ever told. Ever told. Ever told.
Well, ever told. Well, okay.
Ever told.
Okay. Well, you just said something that I think is a great lead-in. You said, I love doing things that make me uncomfortable. So this is a small, just little thing that I decided I've wanted to do for like about 2 years now, and I've been really scared to do it. So I feel like it's going to bring lots of best stories ever told.
Oh my God, she's going to do softcore. She's going to do Cinemax. I knew it. Ms. Grove, you owe me $100.
In 10 days, I start a stand-up comedy class.
What?
This is the Beth story ever told.
Who are you taking it with? Who is it?
I'm taking it with a group, and they're called what are they called? They're called Pretty Funny Women. And so it's a stand-up group for women. Yeah, I just joined a stand-up group for women. It's like the Curves of comedy.
Hey, that was funny. You should write that.
Thank you.
So it's great being at the Curves of comedy.
You guys, I don't know what women talk about, like red wine and their periods. I'm not sure.
That was the name of my high school band.
Red wine and the periods.
Yeah.
It's actually really great. So I'm like peeing myself. I'm very
So you
nervous.
haven't taken it yet. Do you get a book?
No, I just go, and I have
then
to
does
at
it
the end. I
conclude
have
a showcase?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
we are
like
so
doing it
going
at
to
the
that.
Comedy Store.
Yeah.
I like do a thing.
I
at
did
the Comedy
stand up for 8
Oh, that's
years.
right. You have to help me.
No, and then I actually went back and took a class. I don't know when. It was before I was at Price, and it was just to get my mind back in the space because when I was doing stand-up in my early 20s, I had done stand-up when I was in Europe. That was the first place I ever did stand-up.
Did it bomb over there?
No, it killed because... And I say that was probably one of the funniest I was, because I was very smart because I was doing school and your brain is just super good. And the other thing is when you live in a foreign culture, even though it was England, it was foreign in that we are so different, and so your differences are very glaring. Mm-hmm. So it's really, which is what a comic does. They point out differences and things that are common to people, but that are from a different angle. And when you're foreign, you have that angle naturally, where a comic has to stay angry, sad, mad to see that. That's why they tilt that way. But in England, it was super easy because I would come in and I wore like a Detroit baseball hat, and I was just the quintessential American kid.
Yeah,
that was like, I don't understand why it is so quiet in the restaurants. Why are you whispering? And they all crack up because it fucking drives them crazy when Americans are there. Oh. And we are so goddamn loud. You get off the plane in Heathrow and you can hear a pin drop. And
they're
there's
so quiet.
Thousands of people.
Why?
And we get off the plane, and this is what I said. And I said, so we get off the plane, and it's, ba-ding, ding, ding, ding. Hey, where you want to go? You want to get a beer? Yeah. And so it's just really easy to point out the differences. So, and then I hosted that show, The Random Show.
Yes.
The original Random Show, where I did an opening monologue before every episode for 44 episodes. And so we wrote timely things, and then that naturally led into stand-up, and it was actually quite easy for me to get into it from there and learn how to do it and whatever. But then I stopped doing it because I was working so much and it's exhausting to do it regularly and to try to stay good at it, which I was never great at it. I readily admit that my strength is not writing, and that's where Drew Carey's an amazing writer. I just saw him do stand-up last night, and it is like he is such a good writer. And then he's obviously fantastic at delivering it. You have to be able to do both. But he's such a good
so smart
comedy
writer.
Well, he has a skewed way of looking at things. And so anyway, it'll be interesting to see how you like the class because I learned a little bit from it. I agreed with some of it. I didn't agree with all of it. But I actually ended up having to go shoot season 3, I think, of Beauty and the Geek. Oh. And so I didn't get to finish it. I didn't get to do a showcase or anything. I only got like 4 classes in.
Oh, I'm doing a showcase. Yeah.
So what are you going to talk about? What are going to be your topics? Because that's the way it starts. It's like, what is your act? What is your subject? Are you going to focus on? If you see, most comics have like a thing. Yeah. Like, Jerry Seinfeld, observational. Drew Carey, put upon worker guy, when he was before the Drew Carey show, and that's why that led naturally into that. Margaret Cho, whatever, Korean. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
I've been
there's
sort of
usually
thinking,
a thing.
I've noticed the last 2 years of my life, and I'm just coming up with it. I've not thought about this. I was just thinking now that you've asked. I feel like I'm not like 23 anymore, and I'm like, oh, bank account, like, oh, I can have a shitty car, and I just got out of college, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I feel like I've hit an age where I'm supposed to know what I'm doing, and I'm supposed to have things that are set, and I kind of feel
12.
Like,
I was like, what the hell? I'm in junior high, and I don't have this figured out, and I don't like not having money.
Well, the funny thing is that I've always had my life figured out, and then I moved here. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what were you going to do before? make acorn jewelry?
No, I was always going to be an actor, but like I was always like studied really hard and top of my thing and booked all my junk and like, did all that kind of stuff. I was like really on top of it. And then you come out here and you can be really on top of it, but it can still suck, And
still some idiot executive producer gets booked for an acting job.
Right. 'Tis my life. So I kind of have sort of felt like I'm a fake adult. Like I'm a little bit of a fake adult. I'm a little bit of a not adult in an adult's body.
To be honest, you don't have an adult's body.
Oh, because I'm short?
Yeah. So, well, that sounds like that's going to be great.
I think it's going to be, well, I'm not sure if it's going to be great, but we're going to see how it goes. And yeah, I am really excited and it's something I wanted to do. So I'm pumped about doing it.
That's awesome. I really want to go back to doing stand-up. Not at a high level, but I'd love to go do it again. But I just don't have the time to do it well.
Maybe we can have a show together.
Oh, we could have our own showcase.
Yeah.
It's Beth and Maya. I'm an overly adult. I'm 75, but I'm still only 38. And she's a pretend adult.
Yeah, pretend
and together
adult,
we
totally.
can't figure out just how old we are. Well, that's very exciting. I think that there's a lot of excitement coming for us.
Thanks.
And I think that's the perfect way to end this episode of
Good
The
luck
Random
tomorrow,
Show.
Mike.
Was that heartfelt?
Didn't it?
It felt
genuine?
heartfelt. No, I couldn't tell.
it really was. It really was.
I'm so beaten down at this point by. Now I do bring it on myself. I recognize that, but yeah, no, I'm excited. I really the thing that's killing me is that it does take my focus away from my jobs.
No,
and
of
I
course,
have a few of them, and so the one thing is I know I need to go focus on this, but then I also have other things I got to focus on, and that was what was so tough the last time. I know what I wanted to tell you. Remember the last time we did this? Mm-hmm. I was on Bold. Mm-hmm. Deal was going into production, and I was flying to Vegas that afternoon.
Is that true?
Yeah. We were trying to find a location to shoot Deal.
Oh
That's about when that is, I think.
Wow.
Or it's the pilot or something. Because I remember because when I first agreed to do it, it was like, this will be fun, makes me totally uncomfortable. It's hilarious that I'm playing the producer of The Price is Right. Mm-hmm. Like, that's great. Mm-hmm. And they actually said, we don't buy you as the executive producer, so you're just going to you'll be the contestant producer. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I was so distracted that day because there was literally I can remember being in the parking lot because we
were
shot
in
it
the
on
parking
location
lot.
and being on the phone and like the weight of the world being on my shoulders a little bit and then having to come back in and being like, this is so stupid. I shouldn't be doing this. I should not be here for 2 hours doing this. God. And going, I gotta get out of here. Like, and we finished. I was like, thanks. And you and I go running off to where I swear I think we were boarding a flight or something monstrous was happening that day, and there were problems with it. And I kept having to dive off of phone calls. Mike, we're ready for your rehearsal. I'm like, nah.
Sometimes it's hard when you got to produce a show and then you got to act in a show and then you got to catch a plane. Things are hard. Whatever. But that's why Jen's in your life. That's why I was in your life. You have amazing people around you helping you.
Thanks, Jen.
How do you feel about that, Jen?
Are you done yet?
That was Random. See you next time.
Bye. Oh, God. Are you serious?